Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Chico. I'm Rev Michael Benson, your senior minister here at the center. I don't know if I'm most senior, but pretty close. A couple of more years till I get the goodies, you know. The extra goodies promised. I'm looking forward to that. The title of my lesson today is Exhibit A. But before I move on to that, I would like to invite those of you who were not here this morning for our 10 a.m. meditation to consider that. I rush around doing what I think I have to do every Sunday, and I do that. I talked about that in my lesson, the doing. But that moment, that 15 minutes of pure now, just being with myself in the presence of like-minded spirit, it's just delicious. Delicious. And there's a peace that was always within me that gets to show up. It's not covered up anymore. So I invite you to do that. And also, if you have kids that are younger than we are in the audience today, we have Sunday school at 10:30. So if you know any families that would like to come and share in our joy and our celebration and in our teaching, boy, if I had had this when I was younger, in my 10, 11, 12 to my early teens, boy, I always knew it, but there was no name for it when I was younger that I knew of. It was here, but I wasn't here yet. So there you go. Enough info for sure. On with the lesson. I'll begin with a little humor. All right? There's a Little League baseball coach giving advice to his team. And he tells them, baseball isn't just a game. It's a metaphor for life. We dress alike. We follow the rules. We run in circles. There are winners and losers. And suddenly, it's over. The human race is often a race, isn't it? Running to and fro. Not really sure of where to go next or what to do next. We're running in circles. I talked about just a moment ago. We get caught up in the doing of life. So I ask you a question. Do you know where you're going? Do you have any idea where you're going next? Besides today, maybe you're going to go home, but in your life, where are you going? Do you follow the rules of engagement and conformity, seeking a life that may or may not be the one you really want? You know, I know this for you, that you have a unique and divine gift to demonstrate. No matter what you've done up till now, it could be oh so wonderful, and oh so giving, and oh so benevolent, and oh whatever it is. However, that's done. That's complete, possibly. So, I like to ask, what's next? And you know one thing I always ask myself when I get in my car every day to leave the house. I wonder who I'll meet today. I wonder who I'll see I already know today. And what wonderful experience will I get to share it. You know what? It happens. It happens because I expect it. So, are you expressing your unique gift? Or maybe it's someone else's. Maybe it's someone else's idea of fun or enjoyment or demonstration. When I was growing up, my father provided me what I truly needed. I want you to hear the truly needed. I didn't always like it because his rules were not the same as my rules. Many a time I would pout and stomp off. Can you believe that about me? Good. One. Oh, you can't talk about stuff like that. We're licensed practitioners. We've shared. Oh, I'm sharing. Yes, I would do that. When I was in high school, I remember telling my father I was going to a party on Friday night at a nearby gravel pit, of all places. And there would be a campfire, and everyone would be there. And he said, everyone but you. I was disappointed, to say the least. And I pouted, and I said, don't you trust me? And he said, I trust you. I don't trust a group of unsupervised teenagers. When you're a part of a larger crowd, things can get out of hand. Anybody else know about situations like that? Not that you've been part of it, but you know people who've gotten into that. Well, I sulked for the next 3 days. So Friday night comes and goes, and I'm at home, the only one at home of all my high school friends. So on Saturday, my father said, Michael, come here. I want to tell you something. The police raided that party last night. They had alcohol. They had drugs. And they had an illegal campfire. Bonfire party. That was a big-time lesson for me. My father had the wisdom to know the possibilities and the strength of character to stand his ground in his decisions. He gave me a gift of that, and he gave me many more gifts. It's because of my father I have a great deal of trust for the choices that I make and that which I place in others. He validated my place on this planet, and he offered the awareness that I need to not get caught up in what I call a crowd mentality. He offered the evidence to free me to my own thinking. My father was my Exhibit A. Exhibit A is a courtroom term, and it's the number one evidence that an attorney uses to plead his argument. And so it's important to know, at least for me, from my experience, it's important to know what is your own thinking. What is your own choice? The reasons we do anything. Is it from our or their? The crowd or of mine? And so with that idea of the group mentality, when I finished my ministerial training, Dr. Carolyn knows this, I wasn't really sure about licensing. The rest of the crowd, there was 7 or 8 of us, 9 of us, or maybe there's like 12 of us in the class. A few of us went on to be licensed ministers. But I waited a year because I wanted to be sure. I didn't want to be with the crowd. Nothing wrong with being with the crowd as long as you know that's what you want to do. But I, because of my training and my belief system, thought, I'm not real sure. I want to be sure it's for me and not for them. I'm doing something. Last Sunday, I mentioned that Reverend Eileen spoke, and I really was, there was a churning inside me because I didn't want to miss being here in the crowd. But part of how the year was set up before Eileen ever went on her trip was that I was to be somewhere doing something different than here. That was my agreement. That's hard to do when you've done something another way up until last year. So it's new, and it's not easy. There's like this tug and pull that happens within that says, oh, I should be here. Oh, no, they said I don't have to be. Well, but I want to be. Well, but I've already committed over here. And I paid for that thing I went to last weekend. So I went, as you may know if you were here. I had a great time. And the great time was had here. But it's just those decisions about why we do anything. Is it out of our or there? So last Sunday, as I do these Sundays when I am away, as instructed, thank you so much. I'm healthier for it. Thank you very much. I trust someone to be the lead person in my absence. Thank you, Father. I trust someone. I trusted Andy last week. I trusted Pat many times. I trusted, Diana in all of you in different ways. I have a great deal of trust I place. Now, trust is different than giving up, walking away from it, because I do want to be here. But I can trust deep enough to say, you're an extension, an expression, a reflection of who I am. And so you can do this. I know that. They've already demonstrated beforehand that they could do this. You are the demonstration of your faith. You are the demonstration of your faith. You use your faith by placing it toward your beliefs. You get that? You use your faith because you put it into what you say you believe in. There's a chapter in Science of Mind on faith. And Dr. Holmes tells us in the section, Always Empower, this. Faith has been recognized as a power throughout the ages, whether it be faith in God, faith in one's fellow men or women, in oneself, or in what one is doing. The idea that faith has only to do with our religious experience is a mistake. Faith is a faculty of the mind that finds its highest expression in the religious attitude. But always the man who has faith in his own ability accomplishes far more than one who has no confidence in himself. Those who have great faith have great power. Confidence in your individual knowing of who you are is a gift. It's a gift. The expression, don't hide your light under a bushel. We do that. Do we show up authentic every moment of our lives? I don't. I try. But I get caught up in the mentality of the world and of the television, just different things. So today, Exhibit A will examine 3 components of this light, of this attitude of faith. And they are accept, adjust, advance. Last winter, in all this energy talk and everything, we're cutting back on electricity and we're cutting back on using water in a wasteful way. I think it's all good. We're called to a higher purpose right now. It's a good challenge. And I was walking through Lowe's and bought some of those solar lights. Those. Anybody else you buy those? Yeah, 2 or 3 people. They were on sale, and I'm gonna turn my electrical system off and just put those out there. So I stuck them in the ground and came home one evening and they weren't on. They weren't lit up. Well, shoot, I said, what's wrong? What's wrong with these? I was mad and felt stupid because I got caught up in the whole idea of having to buy these, and I pitched my receipt and all that. So I couldn't return them. I was mad. See how our mind works? Go right back into stupid. I don't know who told me that, but somewhere I believe that. Anyway, I got to work on that. So I went out and pulled one up and looked at it. Gosh, there's an on switch. An on switch. But I hadn't accessed it. Spirit works the same way. We have to access it. It's here now. We just have to flip the switch of belief and faith. Because you are provided by Spirit with this inner light. And you're the one through greater faith that must accept it, adjust whatever is needed by turning it on, maybe, and then advance on the pathway to a greater illumination. No one can flip your switch. I don't care what you've heard, who you dated. You can't. You can flip your own switch. It's your call. It's always your call. So today we celebrate the Father, the illuminating power, the potential of God, the one universal Spirit to guide, to guard, and draw us toward the greatness to which we are born. We are born of that greatness. And today we celebrate also the biological father. So let's honor the fathers today, okay? How many fathers here today? Would you please stand? Now, remain standing. How many in the room have had a father? Please stand. Who didn't have a father? Yay! Okay, give yourself some applause. Okay. So I brought up having a father because of the importance of the father figure to our evolution as individuals and how they influence us along the path. And I've already shared an experience of mine. But how many of you were on the playground as little kids? You have a playground close by, or out in the yard, just swinging, or you're skating, with the skates and different things, different games you played. Oftentimes we say, "Daddy, Daddy, look at me. Watch me, watch me, watch me. Look what I'm doing." And for them to say, "I'm proud of you. You could do that." Remember my two-wheel bicycle, once the training wheels were taken away. That was a big step. There was celebration. It's little things like that influence us, that nurture us, that strengthen us. And as I told you, mine said, "I trust you. I trust you." And so what a father does is they recognize, they validate, because they love you. A father provides a type of blessing, a blessing that can propel us forward. Now, sometimes the blessing isn't all sweet and sugary, like mine with the campfire and the gravel pit. When it was happening, I didn't call it a blessing. It was not considered a blessing in my mind. So I'm just saying that sometimes these spots of wisdom happen for us. And so if we can look back at them as a blessing that has moved us forward, propels us forward, there's where our focus can go. I think if you've never had a blessing from your biological father, doesn't mean it's not true. Doesn't mean it's not true. It can be true for you by accepting the idea that you are a blessing in your life, and then adjusting your life to advance into a life of more abundant joy. As an idea, it may be hard to conceive of that at times, but the more we can do that, the more often we can shift our focus away from the beat up to the blessing. The more that pathway is illumined. Because what I know is that there is much gleaned when you accept the power of God in your life. The Father of potential good that awaits your recognition. Like I said, I can't turn on your switch. Nobody can turn on your switch. You've got to flip that yourself. You have to make a decision. You have to use the power of Spirit of God, of your word, of your attention, and then move into it. It is the Father's good pleasure for you to receive all the gifts of the kingdom, whatever your kingdom can hold, can gather in your mind. So please know that the kingdom is your faith in the gifts you have. And those gifts are labeled eternal good. Gift of voice. Thank you so much. So, I read a parable toward closing. It's by Robert Dodson. And he uses an oak tree, which I would think of as the Father. Down from an oak tree to the forest floor, an acorn dropped. Soil covered it, and snow. Through sun and rain, my young eyes watched it grow. For this was 40 years ago and more. Today, another oak tree stands, stout and very tall, beside the weathered stump of parent tree, denying that its vast symmetry was ever held within a small seed. Divine potential. Time's slow synthesis. A green and graceful miracles at hand. And I, from simple childhood grown, may stand within the tree's wide shadow, pondering this. He best interprets life's eternal plan, who sees in seeds the flower, and God in man. So, beloved, happy Father's Day. I encourage you to live in love through your faith. And when you leave today, share this life in love with those around you, because you won't be able to help it. Be Exhibit A today. Namaste. So it is.